Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day reference to Dimagi Naxals has triggered exactly the kind of narrative war it seemed it wanted to avoid. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju rushing out clarifications, Congress leaders wearing the label as a badge of honor, and viral CJP now climbing real political ground online. In this edition of Talking Sense with Srini, with the editor-in-chief of the Federal, Mr. Srinivasan, we converse on whether this is a genuine ideological warning from the government or the latest chapter in a decade-long othering playbook that may finally be losing its punch. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, hey.
Sir, at the outset, I want to know if you think the statement actually receives such kind of scrutiny and brickbats.
Yeah, it does. So, like you said in your intro, that is it ideological this thing concern
Othering.
or a threat which is coming from the government, or it's the othering? It's a combination of both. I think so we need to understand the context. When this government came, Prime Minister used these speeches very effectively, and whatever he was saying was initially lapped up. For instance, he started using an expression called, Khan Market Gang, which was referring to a certain elite of
Yes,
Delhi,
Delhi.
who would frequent that market, which is a kind of a niche market, and they were the one who had cornered all the cream of cities, intellectual wealth, and other things. On the contrary, Khan market is not the same as it used to be. But then the elections Delhi, that was another coinage. That people living in that charmed few kilometer circumference were the one who actually, ruled this country, and some association with what is seen as extension of legendary extension of the British Raj and its trappings and leftovers and those kind of things. So such expressions were used in the past to legitimize what is being pushed as a new nationalism or nationalist narrative. Now, this worked initially. People clapped, people cheered because they saw that India needed a change. There was a feeling that there was a siege within. There is something which is holding back India from its potential, and it is not able to, obtain that potential. And the cause which was given by the BJP regime and Mr. Modi was that it is because of the cultural framework, the political framework, and the government model, which is holding back this nation from its progress. And people bought those arguments, and it was slapped up. And many such expressions were used by the Prime Minister. Over the years, it changed. Then it became urban Naxals, which become even more sharper critique of those who were in, especially in elite institutions like Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, or other university students, or Indian Film Institute in Pune, and where actors, cultural czars, and others, it was seen as they again have monopolized certain thinking. So it was a bit of a mind game also, and this went on for some time. Then it evolved into urban Naxal, into other expressions, and finally, what now we are hearing is this term called, like you have heard, is Dimagi Naxal, which means that Naxalism is finished in the hinterland of, Chhattisgarh, parts of Andhra, parts of other things, which extended West Bengal and all those kind of places. And now it is prevalent in some other idea in the urban landscape that was being given. So basically, it's a political rhetoric used with the big governance. Look, we are building so many big streets, bridges, providing so much of industrialization, taking the economy forward, providing for the defense forces, all those kind of big governance, big numbers, big promises, laced with these kind of hard-hitting rhetoric. All this worked in the previous speeches, but something shifted. Something shifted after July 20th, which I think they have failed to see, especially the Prime Minister while giving the Red Fort speech, didn't see that coming. And what is the switch? The switch is that now the young generation, what is called Gen Z, is refusing anymore to buy that argument. It has moved forward. They are no longer satisfied with this political rhetoric. They are raising questions. They are asking questions on real issues, on governance, on education system, on the way the exams are being conducted. And they are saying that, look, after a lot of hard work we have put in, if this is the kind of results we're going to see, where there is an institutional failure, there is a certain governance failure, we're not going to accept it. And when they see such rhetoric coming from the government, they see it as an attempt to sidetrack, move them away from the main issue and change the discourse. I think they want to bring back to the merits of the argument, the core arguments, and that is the conflict which you are seeing now. And that's why this is important, that like the question which you asked is, should it be discussed? Yes, certainly. This issue should be discussed. And in a democracy, it's important that what people believe and feel, they should be openly discussing.
And immediately after the statement kind of started having some kind of scrutiny, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Kiren Rijiju, immediately said the statement of PM was not directed at the opposition, but actually, so he tried to control the narrative. Do you think BJP has become a bit cautious when churning out such statements?
Yeah, so it's not just big cautious. I think they are also caught on the wrong foot and trying to come out with certain defense. Because in the past, the very same devices were used to attack the opposition. Now, what are the things? Besides Rijiju, there were other BJP spokesperson who were explaining what it means. I mean, there is no exact definition of Dimagi Naxal, which means what? Intellectual Naxalism. There is no such thing. Naxalism is what? It's basically a Naxalbari movement started in India, which actually advocated far left or extreme left ideology, which wanted to change regime or throw regime by armed struggles. That was the original thing. And what immediately people reacted was, no, that's not what we are saying. We love our country, we love our nation. We are highly patriotic, but that's not the point. We are asking questions about governance. We are raising questions about institutional failures. Please answer that. So immediately, as you would see, a kind of reaction and triggering of what we saw, one single statement coming from Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, gave birth to Cockroach Janta party. Similarly, it has given a birth to a new party called, what is it called? Urban, Dimagi Naxal party. That's a new thing which has coined out, and social media is full of that. So what has happened is, when Rijiju tries to explain it, saying that, look, we are not against opposition. So it's very disingenuous, because in the past you have used such things to belittle opposition, to kind of discredit opposition, to delegitimize opposition. So these words are used. But if you look at the definition which they were giving the next day, the spokesperson of the BJP, Sudhanshu Trivedi, he was saying, look, who are Dimagi Naxal? Those who resist Article 370, those who are happy or celebrate the killing of, the death of Indian soldiers, those who side with, LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba, or, other terrorist organizations, or Osama bin Laden, or Zakir Naik, those kind of people. I mean, to bring, obviously, these labels were used in the past to attack at opposition. Congress was at some point of time even criticized to such an extent, was being called as Maoist, laced with Maoist ideology, uh, or even saying that, look, now they have become a Muslim party. These kind of things, slurs being used against, Congress party as well, and other political parties as well. So obviously it will be read like that because this is another attack against opposition. Now they are trying to clarify, no, that's not the case. We are not trying to point out. But then Sudhanshu Trivedi is giving some other definition. So basically, I think they are caught in this in this whole rhetoric of, they're caught in the tangle and they're trying to, untangle him themselves, and that is coming out in various ways.
But like you said, initially it was urban Naxals. The urban Naxals term was used. Now it's Dimagi Naxals. Maybe the wording has changed, but the intention is the othering. Do you think it will work anymore?
No, so that time it did work. See, because a whole lot of people connected, confused with nationalism, patriotism, and these are different terminologies. Patriotism means love for the nation, and I think all Indians love their country, and nationalism is a different. It's a social, political, construct, and it also has a certain geographical construct. So I think everything got mixed up. People started believing, but that has worn off now. That is no longer, I think that's exactly the change which has happened. People are not buying anymore, and especially youngsters, especially Gen Z, and even Gen Alpha for that matter. They are not willing to buy these arguments. They are saying, in fact, the new political outfit which has come, the Dimagi Naxal party, whatever, just another, I think, coinage, they are saying, we love this country. We are not against this thing. We are only saying that, that we are thinking people, and why someone who thinks should be, kind of criticized. Why should he be looked down upon? I mean, that is their response. In the past, they would be defensive. Now they are no longer. They are wearing this as a badge of honor. And on the other hand, they're coming out, and many of them are now saying that we'll wear T-shirts, which actually say that we are Dimagi Naxals. In fact, a former union minister, P. Chidambaram, went out to say that I'm a Dimagi Naxal, and there are a whole lot of others who came out and say, we are. I mean, even I think Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal, he also came out and say, I'm one. So people have started owning it up. So basically, it's like this: you throw the mud at me, and now I will own that up. I'm not going to shrink away from that. And that's a kind of a shift which has happened.
So that's exactly what I was about to ask. Like, everybody is wearing it as a badge of honor. So do you think it backfired?
Yeah, exactly. It has. It has. So, like I explained to you, that this whole construct which has worked in the past is no longer working. You see, the ground has shifted. Things have changed. Somewhere people have begun to think that, look, the promises which are made is not working for us, and therefore they are reasserting. See, they are trying to say something else. There are some, failures which seem to have happened in assessing the situation. The government wants constantly point out, even immediately after the Jantar Mantar agitation was over, the government was constantly trying to coin that as a protest around NEET exams. We have addressed that. It's an institutional governance issue. We have fixed that. We have formed a committee. We have put a new this thing. Everything will be all right, and students should go back and start doing whatever they were studying and doing other things. People should be applying for other jobs and going. Life is normal. But what perhaps they have missed it, that NEET was only a context in which that agitation took place. People had their own worries, each individual had his own set of problems, and they all brought their problem together, and it became a big mix. So what are those issues? Unemployment, underemployment, basically financial distress. And the biggest thing for the younger people is the kind of future which was promised to them, that they begin to see as unraveling, which is not coming through because of various global factors, domestic
Economic
factors. So they begin to feel slightly, quite worried, not slightly, quite worried. And that is a manifest which we saw. I think all of this, the government in a way tried to bottle, saying that, look, it's only limited to NEET and nothing more, and the issue is solved now, everything is fine. But then you see it's not. The issue is coming up in various forms in various other states. So that's what it is happening right now.
So last I checked, before this we were talking that they were having 2,30,000 followers on Instagram. Dimagi Naxal. Now it's like 4,79,000. So every statement back then it used to work. Now it's kind of getting scrutinized. And what's happening basically? What's happening? Because like either earlier BJP used to set the narrative, like when they say urban Naxal, it used to work. But what is happening now? When they are trying to set a narrative, it is like backfiring. So what do you think is happening on the ground?
So, like I said, that the various failures in governance, administration, the institutional failures, those things are being now seen through, and people want even things like this. Like I think in a conversation before this show, you said that whole lot of people are beginning to travel all over the world, and they see the kind of
Basic amenities.
the basic starting with basic facilities which people have, and when they come back to India, and they do feel that, okay, we were also promised, there was a dream which was sold to us. Where is it now?
Exactly.
If you look at the urban situation, why won't people ask such questions? It's not just a question of BJP or Congress, or look at the general state of affairs in almost all over India. Now, one of the things for Dimagi Naxal, they also said that the environmental protesters. Now, look at this. Now, really, it's a serious threat which is facing us. Environment is now leading to, we don't know where it is heading for. Look at another El Nino which is hitting us right now. So the crop, it is, the acreage and other things which is getting affected. Irrigation is getting affected. The dams are not full. So it will lead later to also the electricity problem. So there are a whole lot of issues which are coming up, So when these things, look at the scholar in the urban population, they said we'll convert this into smart cities. But then if you look at the state of the cities, there is heavy rain and it's all waterlogged. So you don't have proper drainage, you don't have proper drinking water. If you start from your home, you don't know when you're going to reach office, or when you are back from office, suddenly it would rain. You don't know when you're going to reach home. So people are watching all this, and this was restricted to one or cities. Now almost all of urban India, remote parts of India. If you look at the kind of thing which happens in Uttarakhand, parts of UP, one part of India is in deep floods, other part is facing shortage of water and drought. So these things were there in the past also, but all these are exacerbated now. And where are the fixes for these? A person going on the road on a motorcycle, suddenly, a big hoarding falls on his head and he dies. A car gets smashed under something. So, every day you're seeing things like this. So I think people are generally getting
Disillusioned.
And therefore they're asking these questions. So this has now become a very magnified issue now. And when when things change, they think very rapidly. So the thinking changes. So probably what we are seeing is sudden thinking changing here.
There is another change that's going on, the complete revamp of BJP. Especially they have like replaced Amit Malviya, who has been handling their IT cell for the last 11 years. So is this a sudden knee-jerk reaction from BJP?
I won't call, knee-jerk, maybe you want to coin it that way, but I would say that, one thing about BJP or RSS, they try to quickly do some quick fixes. So, for instance, Prime Minister, whether it works or not, he thought, okay, Gen Z is addressing me through Instagram, so I will take the same platform. Probably they'll be happy. So he went onto that platform immediately the next night. In fact, the same night, I think, 12, and addressed Gen Z, and he did it for next 2-3 days. It completely flopped because I think what he missed was the form is not dictating his narrative; it's a content. And Gen Z now could see through that content wasn't what they wanted. It was still full of the old, paternalism. For instance, the girl issue, the response of Prime Minister to the girl who was who used abusive language against him. So they saw that and they reacted badly to that. So it didn't work. Uh, BJP tries to fix things. I think probably Amit Malviya's shifting is also one attempt, saying that okay, if it is that Instagram generation, there are other reasons which is also being given by those who observe the party very closely, especially the journalists. They say that no, that's not the reason. The reason is Amit Malviya had become extremely unpopular with his own party. But I think more than that, he had also become extremely unpopular and represented this form of attacking, a form of social media. Yeah. So probably they thought that okay, the time has come to replace him. But whether he is being replaced by a different shade of opinion, or I am doubtful about that. I think it will, because ultimately the thinking or the way the narrative which BJP would build on will be based on their beliefs, and most of these beliefs, whether it relates to relationships or food habits, clothing habits, or cultural habits, or issues about religion, it's all known, and these are not going to change overnight. So I do not expect that by changing the form again and keeping the content same, they will be successful in that. But that they are attempting.
But exactly, they need a complete revamp. But do you think their playbook has become outdated and they need a new playbook? But you say they need to change their DNA itself, right? Will that be possible for them?
No, that's difficult. See, I don't think anyone can change the DNA, so it will remain what it is. But they do attempt to reinvent themselves. That within that framework, can we, approach the same population, and will they start listening to us? That's their attempt. But then, like the Independence Day speech of the Prime Minister, he did try the old formula using the new expression, thinking that probably this will reach home, but it didn't. It rebounded actually. So they are in a bit of a soup trying to figure out how to tackle this situation.
Thank you, sir. That was an insightful answers for all the questions. And thank you, viewers, for watching Talking Sense with Srini.
Thank you.